Hi everybody, this is Czapnik from the Jewish Learning Exchange in Los Angeles. I hope you and yours are well. Our hearts and prayers are focused on Israel and on the hostages and on the soldiers and all the challenges that all the displaced people are having. May the Almighty help that everyone come home soon, happily and healthily. This week's Torah portion is Parshat Tazria, and in it we learn some important lessons about the exact wording of the Torah. The Torah was written by God, and every word has specific meaning, and why certain words are used as opposed to other words, even if the meanings seem quite similar. There's some lessons there, and sometimes our commentators pull away the curtain and give us a deeper insight. An example of this is the word Adam. Adam means a man or a person, and there are other words that could be used instead of Adam, like Ish or Gever, but sometimes Adam is used. Excuse me. In the beginning of the book of Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, right at the beginning it says, if a person will bring a sacrifice. And Rashi, the premier commentary, teaches us, that's to teach us an important Jewish law lesson. Just like the original Adam, the original Adam, couldn't steal because he was the only one person alive and everything was his. So too, we should not steal even to do a good deed, even to bring a sacrifice or to give charity. We should not steal. We can't steal, just like Adam couldn't, the original Adam couldn't, because everything was his. So too, we shouldn't steal to bring a sacrifice. And in this week's Torah portion, we also have if a person gets a skin lesion that doesn't exist today, but in the times of the temple, it was called tsaras. It was a leprosy-like disease, and it had major spiritual ramifications. And the question again is, why do we use the word Adam as opposed to Ish or any other word for a person? And Rav Isby says a very beautiful interpretation. He says that in the beginning of Genesis, when it talks about God creating Adam, man, he says he blew into him nefesh chaya, a living spirit. And the Targum Onkelos, the Aramaic translation, says nefesh chaya, living spirit, means a speaking spirit. Man is unique, that we can articulate speech, and we can write poetry, and we can sing songs, and we can communicate in a way that the animal kingdom cannot. So Rav Isby writes that that's why here too it says the word Adam, to teach us that he's abusing the uniqueness of man. Man, speech is what's unique about him, and one of the major causes of this tsaras, leprosy-like disease, is lashon hara, speaking ill about other people. Even if the story is true, there's a Torah prohibition of speaking ill about others. Only in certain circumstances can we. But the idea of speaking ill about others is very bad, and that caused people to get this leprosy-like disease. So here it's saying, Adam, you're an Adam. You're the one that God blew into you, the living spirit of speech, and you're abusing it. You're using it for the wrong thing. And a third interpretation is based upon a sad but fascinating story of Mendel Beilis. In 1911, a simple Russian Jew was accused of killing a non-Jewish child for ritual purposes. Mendel Beilis languished in prison for 2 years. The entire Jewish world was in an uproar trying to get him out, to tell him to try to prove that these charges were false. And one of his lawyers said to the Czapnik Rabbi, a great Hasidic master, he says, I have to defend Mendel Beilis, but they're going to check the Talmud. And one of the things that the Talmud says is that the Jewish people are called Adam, and the nations of the world are not an Adam. It sounds like that we don't care about the non-Jews. They're not people. The Czapnik said, no. If you're asked about this, explain. If a Frenchman is arrested in Germany, or someone else is arrested in another country, the nation that this person's from doesn't make an issue out of it because they're disconnected. They don't know about him. But the Jewish people does know and cares, and therefore the entire Jewish world is in an uproar. And parenthetically, we see this also now after October 7th. Flights to Israel are constantly full. Jews from all over the world want to come and support the Jewish people and the Jewish state and the army. Unusual. Most people are running away from a war zone, but now so many people are running toward Israel to try to help out in any which way they can. So what does this have to do with this week's parsha? A lot. Because he spoke Lashon Hara. He got saras, this leprosy like this, is speaking ill about people. And that causes a break in peace and harmony among the Jewish people. Not coincidentally, his punishment is partially he has to be isolated, be outside all three camps. Because you're not being careful. You're not sensitive to the needs of the other people. You're speaking ill about other people. You don't belong together with the other people. You're not part of the Adam. You're breaking the one unit of the entire Jewish people, the one collective body and soul of the Jewish people by speaking ill about others. Therefore, you have to be isolated, and therefore you're going to be punished with this saras, which makes you ritually unclean and causes you to have to go out of the camps. So we learned three important lessons from the word Adam. At the beginning of Leviticus, Vayikra, we have Adam. Make sure that the item belongs to you, even if you want to give a sacrifice. Number two, the importance of understanding the power of speech and the uniqueness of man, that we can speak, and therefore we have to use it well and hopefully for positive. And number three, not to be divisive and not to break apart the Adam, the oneness of man, the entire Jewish people, as one big unit and body and soul of the Jewish people. May we learn to use our mouths well for prayer and for compliments and for positivity, and merit to see the unity of the Jewish people in the fullest sense of the term and the coming of the final redemption soon in our days. Have a wonderful Shabbos.